All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, we have another edition here for you from the one and only Iowa High School Baseball Coaches Association Annual Clinic 2024 edition. And we continue to roll right along here. And I say roll right along for a very good reason here. We are going pretty well here as we continue on with the Insights.com hotline. And as we do, we have another very, very fun conversation in store for you here. The one and only Adam Schuck joining me to my right, obviously sporting the good apparel, obviously going to have the conversation's hot, and we love that here. But hey, we get the chance to talk things from not just a coach's perspective, but someone a different role in baseball and what that's like. And Adam, I really appreciate you coming along for the ride here. And again, it's always fun. I like to have these conversations because there's so much more in the game. And I honestly say I could not get enough of what you were doing and what University of Iowa baseball has been doing in terms of, the managerial spots, in terms of analytics and all that stuff. It really is something cool because in today's game at the major league level, what's the conversation about? What's driving things? Analytics. So again, really appreciate you coming along for the ride here.
No, thanks for having me. Thanks for the opportunity. It should be fun.
Yeah, well, and I got to say, first off, what are your thoughts when we take a look at this? I mean, the coaches clinic here. It is something different because one, we have a variety of different people, a variety of different speakers. You being one of them, you have D3 coaches, D1 coaches, all of that. What is it like for you to be in and amongst this and to be speaking at an event like this?
I saw the lineup initially, and I was shocked. I was like, "Oh my goodness, why am I on this list? I do not fit in at all." It was like this all-star group, and then it was me, and I was like, "Oh man." It's awesome. It's so cool that we all get to come together and talk baseball, have a little fun here out in Cedar Rapids. Great event. They do a really nice job putting it on. Would encourage everyone to come out if you're from the state of Iowa or neighboring states even.
Yeah, and I got to say, this is something that's really unique because, again, the conversation's fun, and part of it is we get to talk really the kind of the analytics of it too, and that's one of the things that I have loved and loved following you since your time at Iowa. But one of the things we try and promote pretty heavily within us, our sphere, is the different realms that baseball can take you. And you're a huge shining example of that. I mean, you're in the professional ranks, doing work that I can't do on my best day. You can roll out of bed and be spewing this off. I've tracked your work as you were doing at the University of Iowa, and gosh, no wonder the Orioles swooped in to pick you up, man. First off, the analytic world, man, and what was I asked kind of like your baseball vision, but when talk to me about the role you've been in and what that was like for you coming to Iowa. What was I should actually stop and say how'd you get into the analytics of it all?
Yeah. So when I first joined on, it was 2017, and I think there was 6 or 7 of us, and we had just acquired this device called TrackMan.
Yeah.
And it's this really powerful radar device. It sits on top of the press box, and it measures all the movement, velocity of the pitch, tracks the location, what happened on the play, everything. It gives you this great tool to analyze what happened in the game and over the course of the season. Mm-hmm. And this was brand new. Iowa was one of the first schools to get it. We spent like $30,000 on it. We had to make some use out of this thing. And the coaches are busy, so we had all of these like student assistants, student managers. I'm trying to make an impression.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, guys, let's like figure out what the heck to do with this information. Like we have to figure out something to do with it. There's got to be stuff in here that's really good.
Yeah.
And I taught myself how to break things down in Excel to make different formulas, equations, and graphs. And looking back at them now, they're embarrassing. They're so bad. But it was the best I knew how to do at the time.
Yeah.
And I realized how limited I was in that aspect, and I wasn't quite able to do what I saw online other people doing. We had some other managers at the time who could code a little bit.
Yeah.
So with their help and a class I was taking at the time, I learned how to code in a language called R,
Uh-huh.
which is really good for creating graphics, like very basic graphics.
Mm-hmm.
And so through that, I was able to I would ask a question about the game and I go, okay, I have to be able to teach myself to find this answer. And I would go out and look for it, even if it was just like, what's the average fastball velocity for the Chicago Cubs? That would take me like a week to answer at that time, and then another week to visualize that somehow.
Yeah.
And that was kind of my path, was just banging my head against the wall over and over and over again, trying to learn these things. And so grateful to Rick, Marty, and the Iowa staff to give me the opportunity to learn those things and express my thoughts on what I learned. And they were open to implementing these things from a 20-year-old kid. I don't know why they were, but they were. And
It worked.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for them for that.
And and we sit here again. That I love the fact that we get to look out and you can see Coach Lund, you can see Coach Heller, and all those guys there. What's it like to kind of get that reunion back with them a little bit?
It's great. I got to stop by the facility yesterday. Some things are new, some nice fresh paint, some cool new stickers.
Yeah.
And there's other things hanging up in the building that I put up, I think, 6 or 7 years ago. So a good mix of the new and the old. It's great. I love those guys. They do such a great job raising great young men and also great baseball players as well.
Yeah, I got to say, Iowa has certainly been on the map, and obviously, kudos to their, the ranking is not only perfect game, but D1 baseball, which was, I think, a lot of testament to the base work that you did and that the other managers have done way back again, 2017 and beyond, because it really is cool to think about that. And I mean, any conversation now, it seems that I love it now in the college game more, and even we're starting to see it at the high school level as well. The analytics of it all. And that's something that I don't know, maybe 10, 20 years ago probably wasn't thought of, how analytics could not only change the game, but, really be a good gainful employment, I should say, just a way to do that. Did you ever envision when you started out that this would kind of be the path that you headed down once you hit Iowa and beyond?
Not even close. Not even a little bit. So I went to Iowa because they had a stats program and a kinesiology program. And I was going to do one of those two, but I didn't know what I was going to do because I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life.
Yeah.
And honestly, the library was really cool. That's the main reason I went to Iowa. The library was great.
I love that.
And I didn't know what to do. All I knew was being a baseball player, and I kind of lost this sense of identity when that was done, when I went to Iowa. So joining the baseball program is the only thing I knew.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe I'll get into coaching. I don't know. I'll never be a college coach though. Like that's so hard to do. I'm not that good. And as time went on in Iowa, and we learned all this information, our coaches were super willing and super new age to acquire information. We had resources to acquire tools, and I learned that professional teams weren't even doing this. And professional teams were asking questions about what we were doing in the Iowa baseball program, and it was like, oh, okay. I have a skill that like other people are looking for. This is interesting.
Yeah.
So I sent out emails to every MLB club, and I was like, hey, here's what I'm good at. You should hire me.
I love that.
Make a position for me. That didn't work. At all. But I did end up getting a job with the Mariners, and there I realized that I could really capitalize on my skills and impact players. And I think from there it really took off, kind of continuing down this path into professional baseball.
Well, so far I've been with a couple iconic clubs, and one, it's got to be pretty good to be in the Orioles organization at the moment, right? I mean,
Yeah.
What is it like to see these guys who we've all seen, from Adley Rutschman, Rodriguez, all these guys that have come up and been so anticipated for several years now, and to kind of be working alongside them in a sense, to be impacting what they do?
Yeah.
What is it like to be a part of that whole scenario? That because Baltimore is just taking the world by storm right now.
Yeah, they're doing a great job, especially Grayson, Adley, those two that you mentioned.
Yeah,
Um, it's really unique because we all had the same dream as kids. Like Adley and I had the same dream. Grayson and I had the same dream. We all wanted to play in the big leagues, right?
yeah,
I didn't get that opportunity. I never will. That time is gone. But it's extremely rewarding to watch these super talented athletes and also like great people
yeah,
just go about their lives as normal humans and also be just exceptionally talented baseball players. And to watch them achieve that dream it's so rewarding. You're just happy for them because you remember that version
yeah,
of yourself and how much that would have meant to you.
yeah.
And yeah, it's also like great for the org as well.
Yeah.
Not just like your personal emotions, but yeah, it's great. It's a really good time. It's fun to watch those guys not only debut and be impact major leaguers, and hopefully there's more of them in the near future.
Yeah. Well, and certainly you look what the game now, and we talk about analytics, man, and guys, is a lot of different stats come up, a lot of different stat sites, fan graphs, other type of things really have come up because of it, and it's really been a kind of a cool boom, and what once was not thought of now is, I mean, it's kind of the leading way. How do you get that edge, and how do you look at things? Because what you've done, and especially what got those after you have done as well at Iowa, and now what you do at the professional level. I mean, you see things that the eye test just doesn't provide, right? And so, I mean, how has that been, kind of finding that out to go, okay, I know something different that the eye test doesn't give? Because honestly, what we see now is such a premier product on the field
Mm-hmm.
that it's just hard to imagine that we were anything 10 years ago less than that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's extremely humbling because you realize the things that you think you see, and there's just a whole other world out there
Yeah.
that you can't possibly differentiate between without high speed video or without these tracking technologies. It's just
Yeah.
like very, very humbling to know that there's a lot more out there, and it's also great because it allows us to dive into those areas and try to tweak those guys just a little bit better
Yeah.
based off of that information.
Oh man, and it is so cool. And again, ladies and gentlemen, Adam Schuck, assistant pitching coordinator for the Baltimore Orioles, and gosh, really, really cool that we get to have this conversation again, Adam. I love the fact that as we sit here again, like you said, you look over, got Lund over there.
Yeah.
Uh, as you take a look at that too, I thought, wow, Iowa is just, and I for a long time ago, why hasn't Iowa gotten any more credit for it? I mean, honestly, the credit is well deserved, but I think more because you got guys like yourself and Lund, and you take a look at the pitching that has come through, at everything that's come through Iowa, and I really don't think anyone comes really close to it. And so again, kudos to what you've done here, but now you get to say a chance, and in your professional ranks. I mean, now that you going through all that you have right now, what's the biggest advice in this industry right now? In this industry that, again, 10 years ago may have never existed, but now you are one of the leaders in terms of those who have helped make this industry so good.
Biggest advice I have for people looking to get into the industry?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I would say challenge your beliefs. This is something I talked about in my presentation here just a little bit ago.
Mm-hmm.
Challenge your beliefs. If you think this is true, do some research on whatever that opinion is. Find some facts that suggest that what you believe is correct. Find some facts that what you believe may actually be incorrect.
Yep.
And find some information that supports things one way or another, and you start to build this kind of really solid base of knowledge that's founded upon evidence as opposed to anecdotes and
Yep.
opinions. And then, just building upon that, post that information to Twitter.
I love
I'm
it.
not kidding. It is so powerful. The
Yep.
amount of stuff that I see on Twitter, our GM sees on Twitter, it's like, hey, like, look at this. This is really good material. We can use this. Or, hey, I like this guy's stuff. Like, we should hire this guy.
Yeah.
It's a great way to grow the game as well, but also get yourself opportunities.
Oh man, and certainly opportunities. Again, some hard to come by, but man, if you got the talent like yourself and others from the University of Iowa and others who really do this, again, you can go really, really far. Last couple of things here. I know, Adam, that you got things to go, you got places to be, but I love how you talked, and I got a chance to briefly get in there and listen to stuff versus command.
Oh boy.
And I love the fact. I mean, again, the stuff plus that. How long has that been? How long have you known that to kind of been a thing? I think for me, I go stuff, and I go, well, that's I remember my high school coach saying you got the stuff, but that's not probably what we're talking about here. How is that? How has that kind of phrase changed that you've noticed, and what does it mean for baseball?
Yeah, so I think stuff has changed. We just have better tools to describe it.
Yep.
We're describing similar things, how nasty guys' pitches are, right? But now it's not how nasty they are, it's how much vertical break do you have? How much horizontal break do you have? What's your approach angle? And to me, it helps helps you identify what their unique traits are to be able to help them capitalize on those as players and
Yep.
also help them improve their weaknesses quantitatively. Create movement profiles and pitches that are more likely to be better pitches, and you know that for a fact.
Yep.
Because they've performed well in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that kind of continuing to have a large impact on the game.
Yeah, and man, when you dive into the depths of it all, this is just fun stuff, isn't it?
Oh, it's so much fun.
I mean, you get the chance. You're going to a major league ballpark. You're doing this on a daily basis. But I will ask, just the schedule as we wrap up the last couple questions here. What's your schedule like in season versus off season? I know that. I only assume that there's some similarities, but is there changes in the way that your role changes from day to day when it comes to off season at this point, and of course leading up to spring training?
Yeah, so in season, we will wake up, go to the office. I live just a couple minutes from Camden Yards,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll review performances from the night before, see how guys did relative to what their goals were,
Mm-hmm.
talk to our coaches, probably pick some more player goals or whatever ad hoc material our coaches are curious about.
Yep.
And then we're very blessed that a lot of our affiliates are close to Baltimore. So
Mm-hmm.
typically in the afternoon, I will drive to an affiliate, usually high A or double A, and go be an extra set of hands on the field, participate in the workout,
Okay.
be in the dugout for the games. And then, so that's in season. It's just that over and 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 over again.
Rinse, lather, repeat.
Yep, pretty much. No, with some draft stuff mixed in. And then the off season, the office, your normal 9 to 5 office worker schedule. And it's a lot of work on, okay, those are the processes that we did this past year. How did those go? All right, are they good? Are they bad? What can we make a little bit better?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's an element of learning. Okay, great. We're good at these things. We're not great at these things. What do I need to learn this off season to be a better coach, or to just our process be better as a whole?
Mm-hmm.
And then plan for spring training and all of that good stuff.
Yeah. Well, gosh, spring training. Lastly, I mean, that a whirlwind? Do you get the chance to get down there when it comes to that? And if so, do you get to enjoy the fact that we get to sit here and freeze while you get to have some better weather?
Oh, I'm right in the thick of it. It is usually quite nice to go down there. It gets cold every once in a while, but yeah, it's a great time. It is chaotic as heck. I'm not gonna lie,
I bet.
but it is fun. You're excited to see all the guys again. You're excited to see your friends again. And it's just good to have baseball back.
Yeah. And then lastly here, I have to ask this. It's a food question.
Okay.
I won't put you on too much pressure here,
Okay.
but I have to ask. You get the chance, and you get out there. Camden Yards known for a lot of good food.
Okay.
So what's your go-to? What's your recommendation go-to ballpark food?
At Camden.
Well, it can be anywhere really.
Oh, okay. Well, I grew up on hot dogs at Wrigley.
Yep.
So that always has a special place in my heart. At Camden Yards, this is my fiance's favorite. She would kill me if I didn't say this. Krabby fries.
Krabby fries.
Krabby fries. It's French fries with like crab dip and
Okay.
Old Bay on top of them.
Oh my
There's
gosh.
just crab and Old Bay everywhere. It's ridiculous. It's right over the top. But like one time you got to try it. It's pretty good.
Okay, so this summer when I get the chance to trip up there, okay, Krabby fries.
Krabby fries.
Not to be mistaken with the Krabby Patty.
No, not to be mistaken. No Krabby Patty. They have a Krabby dog, but no Krabby Patty.
Oh my gosh, I love that, by the way. And lastly, how experimental are you with your ballpark food or any food?
Oh, nope, consistent.
No?
Very
So
consistent.
this cola chup that I keep hearing about that's like cola infused ketchup.
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Absolutely not.
Not
sounds
that.
terrible.
You were in Seattle. Did you do any cricket or there was a bug on the stick or something, right?
No, I did not. The food scene at that ballpark is unbelievable, but no, I did not do any bugs.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know about that. I'm with you there. I'm kind of a traditional. I do experiment a little bit, relish on the dog, but
Okay, all
but
right.
I don't know if I go too far beyond that.
Get crazy out there.
It's about that time, right? Oh man, well Adam, hey, thanks again for taking the time, man. I really look forward. I want to have so many more conversations down the line too with you because this means a lot. Looking at this, I was inspired to get into this because of the work that others are doing, such as yourself. There's more ways to be in the game and love the game beyond, like you said, everyone wants to be in the MLB, right? But this is really cool and something that not a lot of people do because they don't have the skill of, but it's really cool to watch. And really excited for you and what you've been able to do and appreciate what you do.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Thanks for having me on.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap this time up here. Make sure to catch Adam. He does a fantastic job. And, Baltimore Orioles, they're a pretty darn good team as they were this year. So we're going to wrap things up with this conversation, and we'll be back with more here on the IA Baseball Network.